to Steiny and Guru, live from the Hilton Santa Clara on 95.7 The Game.
All right, you heard the man. We are live from the Hilton Santa Clara, and our coverage today is brought to you by Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey. Taste the world's #1 bourbon and Harris Ranch beef. Visit your local Chavez supermarkets for all your beef and tailgate needs. Let's get right to it. Our main man. I'm going to say it today because I'm feeling good. This is the greatest fullback that's ever played the game. Yep, Lorenzo Neal. What's up, Lorenzo? How you doing, buddy?
Wow, Steiny, I love you today. I cannot believe you gave me the. You just gave me the goat.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm speechless. But I'll tell you what I did do last weekend, guys. This past weekend, Harris Ranch provided me a tomahawk steak.
Oh,
that was absolutely amazing. One word to describe it: legendary. This tomahawk, Guru, just melted in my mouth. I put it on the grill about 225 degrees, and I let it sit on there for 30 to 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then after I did, I put my thermometer inside, and I got about 110, and then I took it off my smoker and put it on the grill and let it just sear the juices in. Oh
wow.
Yeah, Guru, special. Yeah, love you guys. Yeah, I know how to throw down on the grill. But I'm going to tell you right now, tonight's going to be a throwdown, and it's going to be some meat up laying on the field because it's going to be a slobber knocker. This is going to be a headbanger. I'm telling you guys, this is a physical game. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be, I think the most points going to be scored is 24 to 16. I'm telling you guys, that is going to be a low-scoring physical game, and it's going to be a good one.
Lo, before we get into football, I got special Steiny today. So the listeners already know he hasn't seen the movie Friday. So I bring up Martin Lawrence, and I go like this: "You gonna eat that cornbread?" Do you know what movie that's from? What movie is that from, Lo?
Life, baby.
Yes, and Steiny hasn't seen it.
Oh, Steinerberger, you got to see Life. You want your cornbread?
There you go.
Guru, the boom room. The boom room.
Don't ruin it for him, Lo. I think he's going to go to the lab and see it. Hey, Lo, on my list, I got a bunch of things about this game, but you played. You know what goes on in the locker room. I told Steiny and the people, this game's about morale. I know if they lose, it's not over, but everything that's going on, and just even before week one, morale, they need to win this tonight. Does that mean anything or resonate with you?
No, 1,000% it resonates with me, Guru. Let me tell you right now, this is the game that, that you got to look at Jimmy, you got to look at friggin' the head coach, and you got to say, put your differences aside. This is where coach goes in there and says, Jimmy, let me talk to you. You see this media, what everyone's trying to pull you and the eye apart saying, oh, my play sucked or this, that, and the other. Oh, and you go ask him, you got to play free. You walked in the game and got to play free. Jimmy, enough's enough. Tell me, young man, what do you want? If I'm the head coach, Guru and Steiny, I'm telling you, this week, Cal goes in, Jimmy, here's the plays. What plays do you like? Tell me what you like. I'm going to give me your list of third down plays. Give me your list of 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. What do you like on 3rd and 7 or more? Tell me the plays. I'm going to look at the defense, and I'm going to dial up the plays that you want. But I just need to know because I know the coverages, and I know what what plays can beat these coverages. But give me your list of plays that you like against these particular coverages, and we got to forget the rest. This is everybody has to be on this ship. Jimmy, you get to finish your book. All the different things that was going around and all this Jimmy getting traded, everyone's Jimmy out, all this stuff. Jimmy, guess what? It's you and I right now. I'm the head coach. You're my quarterback. You're the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. We are depending on you. Forget the outside noise trying to divide and get us to argue and fight amongst each other. Jimmy, what are we going to do? Because this falls on you and me because you're the guy who's leading the team. You're the quarterback. How are we going to drive this ship? How are we going to put our differences aside and say it's about win? That's what this is about. This is about winning a football game.
Lo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. Of course, Monday Night Football tonight from Levi Stadium. The San Francisco 49ers against the L.A. Rams. Let me ask you this, Lo. Everybody worries about how a team's feeling if they're, struggling 0-3, let's say. What's the difference between a team that's desperate and a team maybe that's, I don't want to say packed it in, but starting to get resigned about their season? For example, let me just throw an example at you. Last year when the 49ers were 3-5, they're right on the verge of their season coming apart. How did we know they were going to be a desperate team rather than, you know what, it doesn't look like it's our year?
Yeah, I think this is exactly what you're saying, Steiny. Team that you're on the verge. People saying, "Is this our season? What do we have to do?" I agree with you. This is a team right now. I don't think it's volatile. I think that you're the San Francisco 49ers. You are a Super Bowl. You have a Super Bowl defense. You are Super Bowl ready on defense. You're not Super Bowl ready on offense. I think you guys. So it's about right now that this team come together and say, but how do we do? Because we never necessarily been a high power offense, but we've done it by strength and numbers. And that's, I think, the whole message, the whole camaraderie has to be today, for here on out, is we have to do this together. We're not good enough collectively to do it necessarily on offense, but we got to win as a team. And that's special teams, offense, defense, coaches. Everyone has to be on board in order for this team to have success.
Let me ask you this, Lo. What's the plan of attack tonight? Because the Rams come in here, they obviously got a better record than the San Francisco 49ers. Last time you seen them, they erased a 10-point lead, broke your hearts, went on to win the Super Bowl, but they're without their starting guard. I know it's the NFL and injuries, but if you're Kyle Shanahan, what's your plan of attack tonight?
Well, it's simple for me, Guru. It's like, can we establish the run game? We got to find some way to establish the run game, but we got to hit the quick hitters. We got to be quick. Look for this team to have some down blocks, quick track plays, trap plays. Let the guy seem like appear that he's beating, and then the guards coming across and pulling and trap. Look for some type of trap, some misdirection. You got to hit this thing. And also, guys, you got to get the ball out of Jimmy G's hand quick, because offensive line right now, I know it's just, no pun intended, we always say games are won and lost in the trenches. No question, no doubtly, unmutable, this game will be won and lost in the trenches. And I look at the Niners and you say, this offensive line, we already know defense is unbelievable, but can this offensive line provide enough protection for Jimmy G? Guys, you know Jimmy's not that mobile. You know Jimmy can't get out of harm's way. You're going to have to block for him, but if you can't hold up, it's going to be a long night. That's why it's imperative. The game plan, Guru, getting back to it, get the ball out of Jimmy G's hand quick. Win on first and second down. Get the quick out. Get the ball out of his hand. Win. Keep moving to six. Don't be in third or long. Be in third or manageable. 3rd and 3 or less, because now you can still run or pass on third down. It's going to be very, very imperative, because if I'm the Rams, I'm saying, look, we're going to play a lot of two-man. We're going to make sure we're going to keep the middle of the field not open, because I know Jimmy. Jimmy wants to throw the ball in front of him. When have you guys seen Jimmy throw that 5 route where that's a 15-yard and the receiver comes back down here? When have you seen him throw all the 3 routes, the outside routes? Jimmy does not throw the ball out well to the boundaries. You saw even in the end zone when he stepped out of the end zone, that ball was out in the boundary, intercepted. It floats. He doesn't have the mechanics right now. To me, in my opinion, he's not a great forward that throws the ball outside on the perimeters. And so I think the Rams' plan is to say, we know where he wants to go. It's the middle of the field. That's where Jimmy is more effective at, is throwing the ball in the middle where he can see everything. The Rams are going to try to stop that tonight. So it's going to be a battle of wills and battle of attrition. And like you guys talked about, this is about camaraderie, and this is about team, and this is about individuals coming together and say, let's change the narrative about us, but let's be who we know we are, and that's the San Francisco 49ers that takes pride in our running game, and we kick your butt on defense. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if this team is going to win tonight, defense is going to have to win the ball game.
Lorenzo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. You can hear him every Monday at 1 o'clock with us, and you can also hear him on Mondays with Sean Salisbury, the Football Hour. That's at 6 o'clock, but that will be tomorrow instead because of tonight's Monday night game. All right, Lo, I mess around with you about Kyle Juszczyk, and most of the stuff I say is just to mess around. But
Of course.
I do wonder this. Okay, we got George Kittle, who's a tight end and a great blocker. We've got Juszczyk, who's a fullback. Not every team uses a fullback, but they use him because he's a great blocker. Does Kyle Shanahan need to use those guys just a little more, though, to kind of make them a little more of a threat than they are? Because Kittle only gets 3 catches. Juszczyk gets a catch a game. Should they diversify it a little more using those 2 guys specifically?
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you right now, Steiny, this is my game plan. And you guys might think I'm crazy. I believe between Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle, they should have between 30 to 40 targets. That's either running the ball, that's catching the ball. You have 3. Here's what you guys have to. You have 3 guys that are game changers. 2 of them that's prolific, Pro Bowlers. We know what Debo can do. We know what friggin' Kittle can do. Ayuk starting to come in his own. Look at his. You have 3 guys, Guru, that can absolutely light up. Tell me why in the hell would you try to target those guys 30 to 40 times this particular game? Because they are your big play guys. I know the running game, and I get that. And guess what? 20 rushes for the rest. But if I'm going, those are the 3 guys. Those are the 3 guys that's going to get the predominant, the most targets, the most touches. I need my playmakers touching the ball. Who on this team, guys, besides those 3 guys I just named, who has big? Who's the guy? Who can get you the big explosive play besides those 3 guys? You better target those guys 30 to 40 times a night. That's the game plan. That's what it should be. And Kyle Shanahan, we're going to see tonight how much he really believes in these guys, because I'm losing. I don't care if it's incomplete. I don't care if it's from. I am getting those 3 guys the football often and often.
Lo, that is incredible, man, and it's kind of maddening. And if you look at this Niner team since Kyle's taken over, Robert Saleh, he took care of the defense. That was his job. What did he do? Got himself a head coaching job. I don't know what D'Amico Ryan's future is, but if his unit keeps playing like they are, I know it's 3 games, he may be on the sideline controlling the team. Kyle, how can he not look at the weaponry and get what you're asking to be done? Why haven't we saw that already? Is it the quarterback?
Well, I think that you got to realize now, Guru, drastic times calls for drastic measures. I think those 3 particular guys are guys that you got to find a way to get the ball. And here, that's not usually what you do in traditional football. But if you don't have the running game and you don't have the offensive line to do the things that you need to do, you got to say, then we got to light it up. We got to find a way when bubble screens, reverses, counters, do whatever we can do to let these 3 gentlemen touch the ball. And we got to find a way to get it to them often, and we got to get it to them early. You can't wait. Those 3 guys control your game. Those 3 guys, they're not thermometers. See, a thermometer measures temperature. A thermostat regulates. They are regulators. They are thermostats. They can bring, if Debo busts, the crowd goes crazy. When Kittle does it, he regulates temperature. Ayuk, they regulate them. These other guys, they're just even kill on your offense. You don't have big play potential, but they're just going to be steady, Eddie, and that's the biggest thing. You got to protect the quarterback tonight. You've got to find a way to keep him upright. You've got to find a way to stay ahead of the sticks. You've got to find a way to get the ball out of his hands quick. And then every now and then, you're going to ask those guys up front that they got to hold up for 7 steps, and he's going to have to let it go, and he's got to turn it loose. But you got to hit them quick, often, and hurry to wear those guys out. Because if you try to hold 1,001, 1,002, 3, 4, it's the line. I'm sorry. In my opinion, they won't hold up, Steiny. They can't hold up. They won't hold up. And individually, they will take turns. One might hold up this play. Next play, he does it. So you have guys on that offensive line, in my opinion, they cannot hold up consistently. If that's the case, you got to get the ball out of his hand quick and often.
Lorenzo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game on the eve of a Monday night football game between the Niners and the Rams right here at Levi Stadium. Darryl the Guru Johnson, Matt Steinmetz with you. We're at the Hilton Santa Clara. All right, if you're Kyle Shanahan, Lorenzo, and you know you're going into tonight's game without Trent Williams, are you worried about how that's going to affect the running game or the passing game?
I'm worried. I'm worried for both, because here's what I'm doing. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, guys. I'm putting Kittle to the opposite side where your other tackle, who's a first round pick, and you say, okay, you got to hold up a little bit better. So I'm putting Kittle on his side, and I'm going 12 personnel. I'm going 2 tight. I'm gonna take the guys. I don't like to say that, but I'm taking my fullback off the field at times, and I'm going 2 tights where I can have 12 personnel so I can stretch the defense, and also I can have a double team on helping out the tackle. So I would go with look for this team tonight. Don't be surprised if you see some 12 personnel with 2 tight ends in the game to try to help with the blocking and try to help slow down that pass rush.
You know what, Lo? You said something interesting when you got on here. You talked about, basically, to me, this is how my ears received it. Like, the state of the Niners is soap opera-ish. It's drama. And I'm wondering, if you see that and the fans see that, we're not making it up. I mean, how big of a deal is that in the locker room? Is that talked about? Do they ignore it? Or is that a rallying cry for these guys tonight? Like, you know what? To hell with the noise. And what did Tupac say? It's us against the world. Are we going to see that from the Niners?
You have to, Guru. You're exactly what you said. You've heard the rift between Shannon and your quarterback, Jimmy, that you hear speculations. You're not for sure, but Jimmy just getting going. He said he wants to play easier. Shanahan says you got to go ask him. I don't know. This is laughable. Did he read the lips? The lip reader said, supposedly he said, these plays sucks, man. So all this stuff is going on, outside stuff. But this is human. This is the human nature. First, everyone wanted Jimmy. Oh, we didn't want Jimmy. We want Jimmy. And now all of a sudden you have this. And look how we as humans, we always want to conquer and divide and separate. That's just the demand. That's just the dynamics of fans and people. Look at, they want to separate. Look at Buffalo yesterday, losing by 20, all of a sudden making that comeback. Buffalo's supposed to be this big team. Look at all around the league that you have teams that are going through certain things. But this is about football, and it's about nutrition. It's about attrition, saying, how do we survive? How do we stay together? How do we not let the wind move us because the storm is out there? We just did windy. It's not even a storm because the season hasn't even started. We're only 4 games in. What the hell? Are we already falling apart? Come on, guys. That's the outside media trying to find a way to see if they can ravel us and make us just come apart, just like this country. We're divided. And that's how it works. And football teams, good football teams with good head coaches and good people and good guys in the locker room, like you alluded to, Guru, guys coming together. This is when they come together and say, look, we have to surround our circle with us. If you let the outside pull on us, we will become divided, and then we'll start to believe the drama and believe everything surrounds us. We're a good football team. We have a super. Let's be honest. This defense. If you put this defense in Buffalo, if the Niners defense was with Baltimore, if the Niners defense was with a lot of teams, the way that their offense is moving, you would say, my God, that's a Super Bowl team. So you have one part of the puzzle figured out. You just got to get this offense going. So the team is in a good place. You got to get the offense. You got to get guys moving, and you got to find a way to keep the defense off the field. But you got to win on first and second down. Stay ahead of the sticks, Guru. But the biggest thing, they have to believe in one another, and they have to play with effort and energy and faster, and they have to want it more tonight in order for them to beat the Rams.
Lo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. I got one for you, Lo. Obviously, you've been out of the game for a little while, and when you're not playing, you probably see how passionate fans are and how week to week things change. And if the 49ers lose tonight, this is going to be a nightmare week. Everything's going to be going wrong. The season's in trouble. If they win, we're back. Let me ask you from when you were a player, okay, and you're going through these ups and downs. It's nothing like a fan, right? I mean, you can't go through it like a fan, right?
Hey, Steiny, that's a great question. Without a doubt. I've been on some bad teams. I was with the Saints when they was called the Aints. And I could look on the defensive side of the ball when you have Sam Mills, Ricky Jackson, Von Johnson, and you saw your Pig Golf, you had Wayne Martin, you had that defense, and you said, okay. And offensive, we know we had Willie Rowe, you had Whiskey Wade Wilson, Steve Walsh, some guys, and you're like, and in the certain part of the season, you seen your defense, you see them every now and start to look a certain way, and you knew that because our offense couldn't score. We were playing against Atlanta, the Niners, when it was that particular conference in Atlanta, and our offense just wasn't good enough. And you knew that you weren't going to be able to win certain games, and you saw the wear and tear. Guys start to get injured on defense, but that's like 7, 8 games into it when you start to feel that thing unravel. In Cincinnati, guys, I knew we didn't have a chance. We won 2 games after week 6 or 7, and the way you go about losing and then you see guys how they act, they carry themselves, more into having fun, partying, doing those stuff, and you can just tell they're going through the motion. Seeing guys miss meetings, being late, coming to the practice hungover, not really being there, and you're like, okay, it's over. I know. So yes, the fans and the players have a different perspective on it. But when you're in that locker room and you're on those teams, who you and I've been on teams with the Saints, but I knew my guys were going to fight. In Cincinnati, it just wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? So, So the Niners are in a situation where you got guys they're going to fight. They're just built that way. They're going to fight on offense. They're going to fight on defense, and they're going to have to fight on special teams. Because the Niners aren't good enough to be lacking in one area. They're good enough on defense, but that's why offense and special teams, they're going to have to make some plays. They're going to have to make some plays, and this is that battle cry. It was been like this for the last several years that the defense would carry the majority of the offense. We know that, but it worked. They just got to go out there and continue to compete, and the more they score, the more they ahead in the games and keep it going that way, the more the defense can relax and the more the defense can play free. Last week, guys, wasn't a good outing. You give up a safety. You give up a fumble on a play. Your defense got worn out, held them to 10 points, but it was half the points came off of what not the defense allowed, but what the offense allowed. The offense can't fight a battle against their own defense. That's what has to happen, Steiny. So kind of answering your question, players and fans are totally different. It's a different vibe because you know who's in that locker room. You know how good your players are. And you know when you can handle, and you know when you can't.
Wow, Lo, great stuff. Listen, I need your help. I need some ammunition because Steiny said something to me last week after I was making a point through 3 games how stellar the Niners defense is, Lo. And in my lifetime, they're the 85 Bears, Warren Sapp's Bucks, and Ray Lewis's Ravens. And the theme early on is the Niners defense has been stout, running around, hitting, but when they do give up a score, it's kind of the score that wins the game for the other team. What ammunition can I use for people out there making that point when I say, you know what, through 3 games outside of maybe Philly, Dallas, and the Rams, the Niner D is up there, but yet they have that one attribute to where they're giving it up at the end. Walk us through that. How that shouldn't be a demerit to the Niners D.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is if you allow someone, the turtle and the hare, when the turtle, because the hare was taking breaks and doing this stuff, allowing people to stick around, end up losing the race. You can't expect your defense to go out and pitch a shutout. You can't expect your defense to go out and say they're not going to give up a play here and there or a touchdown. But that's when you have that, and that's what happens, and it makes it look like, oh man, what happened to the defense? All they had to do is make one more stop. You start to get tighter. You know that you have to carry the load, and sometimes you go out there, Steiny. You know how you go. When I go play golf, Steiny, I hate playing teams with you because I got to carry you. So now I let you shoot your ball, and it's over in the field, it's over in the water, it's over in the drink, and boom, we're playing a foursome, and then all of a sudden it's on you. Okay, you got to put a ball in play. And you become, and usually, if all of us hit a good ball, everyone hits a good ball. Everyone's easy because the first one hit a good ball, the second one, and then you're like, it's easy. But when you're the last and everyone's depending on you, sometimes it's Steiny, that ball may travel, like curve, come out a little different because you're so focused on trying to be perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, Lo, we'll enjoy the game tonight. Thanks, as always, for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week, man.
No worries, guys. You guys gonna be at the game tonight? Let's go get crazy, boys. Let's go.
Let's do it.
We're broadcasting from the Hilton right now. Lo, waiting on you.
Yeah, I got 90 minutes to go till the tailgate here.
Sounds good, Buzz. Well, I'll buy you guys a drink. Let's put it on my tab. I got you.
All right. Nice. Thanks, Lo. Take care, buddy.